Hey beautiful people, welcome to my channel and of course my Draw Too Much sketch lessons that we do here on this channel. And today we're going to do our next page or item from our book called 300 Drawing Prompts. This is a gift that my mother-in-law gave me a couple Christmases back, and I haven't done anything with it. And I thought, you know what we should do? We should stop focusing completely on caricature like we've been doing and loosen up our minds to focus more on design, because design plays a very key role not only in caricature but in everything else you're doing. The shirt I'm wearing right here is a logo that I helped a company make for their business, and if I didn't focus on design as well as caricature, I wouldn't have been able to do this. So let's try to think outside the box. Let's take a step away from caricature and try this out. If you enjoy this video, then I would love it if you'd hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment, and all the good stuff that you know to do, including supporting me on Patreon. Don't forget, when I put up a new video, that video is scheduled, which means I made it in advance. If you want the video the day that I made it, and the day that I finished editing it, then you need to become a patron, because as soon as that video is edited, it immediately goes on Patreon for you to enjoy as soon as it's done. I appreciate it. All your support is a humongous help to my wife and I. We love you. We appreciate you very much. So, here's how this works, guys. I want you to pause the video right here. Go get your paper. Go get your pencils. Go get whatever you use, your iPad, your drawing tablet, whatever you use to draw on, and it's time to draw together. I don't even know what drawing we're going to be doing next. Last video that we did of this was Angel's Wings. I haven't drawn angel's wings in forever, and so this is a fun little challenge. But we have 10 minutes, 5 minutes to sketch and ink, 5 minutes to then take that to a finished piece. And I would love it if you'd show that to our community at Draw Too Much Artists Anonymous on Facebook. Would love it if you look up our Facebook group, Draw Too Much Artists Anonymous, and put your post up there of what you did for your sketch. Shall we see what today's drawing is that we're going to do? Let's go ahead and start up our music and see what we have for today. Here we go. Let's find out. The second drawing on our first page in this book that I know you really can't see very well says a Dr. Seuse hat. Alright guys, you draw it however you want. You can either follow along with me or do it your own way. This is your chance to test your brain out and see how you do. Let's give this a shot together, shall we? Timer starting. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Let's do this. Here we go, folks. Grab your pencil, grab your paper, whatever you do, and let's have some fun drawing a Dr. Seuss hat. Whatever way you want to do this. Let's go. I'm just quickly roughing out what I think a Dr. Seuss hat would look like. Good thing I used to go to Disney Universal, well, Universal a lot, because Universal's the guy who does that. Let's see. Kind of getting some fun little design elements in here. Just think quick, and if you feel like you need a little bit more room to work with, make another layer. If you're drawing digitally, minimize your first layer, make your drawing pencil a little different color, and go over top and re-ink this out a little bit. Give yourself some shape and some form. Work out what you need to get this done right. 5 minutes. You can do a lot in 5 minutes, believe it or not. It takes practice and takes time, but there's a lot of stuff that you can do in 5 minutes. Let's see what you got. This is your chance to build up your drawing chops here, guys. Let your brain kind of come up with its own thing. It doesn't have to be the perfect Dr. Seuss hat by any means, okay? Use this time to really let your designer's eye flow. Alright, I'm moving on to my inking here. I'm going to grab my inking G pen. I'm going to a black pen, and I got it thick. I want it thick because I really want to focus in on getting these lines nice and crisp. I also am working with a stabilization of 34 right now, which is going to really give me some really clean lines. If you have the time, train yourself to focus on those thick and thin lines. Make sure when you come to a point on some of these lines, make sure they come to a nice solid point. Don't let them just be hard, crazy rounded points. Focus on getting some of that form. The form is really going to make this piece look awesome. All right. How are we doing on time? We have 2 minutes and 55 seconds to finish inking this. So get your time focused in there. Get it looking good. You don't have to do perfect at this, but this is This is a lot like a workout. Right now, we're working out our brains. Get that brain going. Let it just do its own thing. You create whatever you want to create. This is your 10 minutes to use as you want. If you're working on a bunch of other people's artwork and you haven't had a chance to loosen up and enjoy something for yourself, this is that moment. If you've never even seen a Dr. Seuse hat, who cares? Draw what you think the Dr. Seuse hat looks like. Who's Dr. Seuse? Dr. Seuse has written a bunch of kids' books, and they have rhymes and all kinds of crazy stuff talking about green eggs and ham and all kinds of things like that. He's done a lot of crazy stuff. Alright, I got a very rough sketch going on here. How are we doing on time? We got 1 minute and 36 seconds. I'm going to go ahead and focus some of my time now on making some of these lines look a little different. Try and focus on some of the design elements to make this hat pop even more. Let that music kind of lead you. Music is a driving force. Yeah. Boom, 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 boom. You'd be surprised how much quicker you can draw with some music with a heavy beat. When I used to draw caricatures late at night, I'd wear headphones and I would jam out to some really hard bouncy music. I loved it. And truth be told, you could even catch me dancing while I was doing it. Alright, I'm switching over to a texture brush here, making a new layer for the last 30 seconds of this piece. Here, you guys know what I like to do. I like to add like a texture white around it. It kind of acts as almost like a highlight per se, but it really just makes an image pop. Really sets off. There we go. Really sets off that hat. That's why I like drawing on gray backgrounds. This is a 50-50 background, which means it's 50% up. Okay, we got 4 minutes and 58 seconds to do our color, guys. Hurry up, let's get that in there. Once again, this is a 50% gray, 50% black. Well, 50% white, 50% black, which makes a 50% gray. Quickly get it in there. We got color to do. If you're drawing digitally, make sure you color in those lines. Get those lines inked as best you can, because then I can just come in here. I can set this as my reference layer, and we can go right in with some colors. Let's see what happens. Grabbing my paint bucket tool. This is a great way to cheat. Alright, right there, that line it wasn't connected, so I gotta go and fix that now. Grabbing my marker here, I'm gonna go ahead and fill that line in there. Now I can go back and fix that. Grab my white layer. Let's go ahead and put in our white section now. Using the paint bucket tool, here we go. Oh, I got another mistake. You gotta fix those mistakes, guys. Let's go ahead and go back in here real quick with my marker here and fix that with the G pen. There we go. Now I can go back in and fix it again. Get it right. Get it right, Tim. Get it right. Here we go. Did we fix it? I can't tell. It's because I'm on the wrong layer. Let's go ahead now and grab my eraser. I am wasting far too much time on this. Get those lines right the first time so you don't have to do it afterward. There we go. Get that erased. Get that erased. There we go. We'll fix it with some white. On the white layer here, just patch that right up. There we go. Okay, I am down to 3 minutes left, so I got to do some quick movement here because I made a couple mistakes. So I'm going to go and find my red, and I'm going to go find a deep red, more of a maroon tone. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and drop in my shadow with this maroon tone. Here we go. I'm going to make it pretty thick too. The reason I'm doing this is because of lack of time, obviously, but then secondly, what we can do is we can change our layer settings, and our layer settings are going to allow us to be able to have this maroon reflect off of this in a different way. It's going to cast a shadow on every color. So on white, it's going to look different than it's going to look on this red. You'll see this in just a second. Try and focus on where to get those tones. Good. Okay, let's go ahead and see what happens here. We're going to go to this layer. We're going to go to the normal. We're going to set it to multiply. And there you go. It's going to change all the settings here. We can drop our opacity on it a little bit, and you can see how that looks. We're getting there. We got 2 minutes left. Let's make another layer here. And we're going to go ahead and grab our big brush here. And I want to start adding in some shadows with the airbrush. Okay, now here's the challenge. We don't have much opportunity to mess with this too much, so I'm going to very quickly be grabbing and going here, making a large airbrush. I'm running out of time so fast here, and I'm going to airbrush in a gradient of darker red tone here, okay? And this is to try and help set the atmosphere for this piece, okay? Now on the front, I want to do a little highlight tone, so let me go ahead and make a new layer here, and with the minute and 23 seconds I have left, I'm going to grab a yellow white here, and I'm going to very quickly, with my inking brush, come in here and draw in where I want this highlight to stand out and be bold. We're running out of so much time. Here we go. Get this around this corner here. Focus on where you can add those highlights. Highlights are a very cool feature to add into pieces. Okay, but we got to do this a little differently here. We're going to change this layer as well. We're going to use an effect to make this pop. Here we go. We're going to come to the normal. We're going to set it to add glow, and I'm going to drop the opacity on this. If I did this right, we should have a different effect, and it's not showing the way I wanted it to. Oh no. There we go. Just a little bit brighter. That's it. Now we can also, with the last 36 seconds that we have left, let me grab my airbrush and add in a little bit more of this here, just in certain key areas to make this pop just a little. Just find little spaces where you want that highlight to show itself, okay? It's not a requirement, but it does help slightly in those little areas. What do we got? 10 seconds. 10 seconds. All right, go ahead. Let's quickly change this one over here to add glow and drop it just slightly. And there we go. That is... that is our crazy Dr. Seuse hat. I do hope that you enjoyed it. Remember, you need to also sign your work, guys. Sign your work. Let me go ahead and sign mine here. I'm going to make another layer here. And then this is where I'm going to sign my work. Don't forget, would love to see what you drew. Post it up on the Draw Too Much Artist Anonymous Facebook page. And thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Let me show you how I sign my work. We do a T first, and then I do I, and I chicken out a M. Okay, and then my next name is Lee, so L-E-E. And I do a crazy looking M here. I-C-H-A-E-L. Make sure you put the date on your work, or at least the year. And then I do a weird circle right here, and I crisscross it. And that, in ancient Greece, was a sign that people used to put on different places to let other people know that Christians were meeting there. And I'm a Christian, so I like to share my testimony by having that on my signature. Well, guys, that's going to do it for this piece. I hope that you liked it. That was a very fun 10-minute challenge. I really hope that you got a kick out of it, and I hope you drew something cool. And even if it didn't take you, even if it took you 30, 40, 50 minutes, share with us what you got on the Draw Too Much Artist Anonymous page. Appreciate your joining me in this video. If you did enjoy it, like, subscribe, hit the bell button to get notifications when we release new videos, and don't forget to leave a comment on what you enjoyed about the video. And finally, become a Patreon supporter. Remember, my Patreon supporters get discounts for artwork. They get discounts on shirts that I will be creating at some point in time in the near future here. And then, of course, also want you to be able to get videos as soon as I upload them. Not when they're scheduled weeks in advance, but when they are on and done, you can get them on my Patreon page because you are one of those amazing giving-hearted supporters. We love you guys. God bless you. See you next time right here on another Draw Too Much sketch lesson. Take care.